French touch.
Shall I start? It's going to be in English, I'm afraid, but there we go. So, my name is Mirko Whitfield. I work for South by Southwest, which you may know as a conference and festivals take place every March in Austin, Texas. But today, I'm not really going to talk about South by Southwest, except for the very first bit. What I'm going to talk about is old people. And that's why I'm sitting down, because I'm feeling pretty old today, so I thought that's a good cue. Old people are our national treasures. You know, old people are everywhere, right? In supermarkets, in the metro, walking around the streets. Most of the time, we just ignore them. Maybe we feel sorry for them, but we never actually consider them to be part of our cultural heritage. In this talk, I want to talk about two examples of old men and how they have each inspired two young people. And indeed, that is the central message of this talk. How young people need to interact with old people who have stories to tell them. So here, let's go to the first person, if I can. Maybe we need to do this manually. It's not working. Can you move on to, go back, yeah. Okay, now. Okay, this is a guy called the Grey Ghost. His real name is Roosevelt Thomas Williams, born 9th of January 1903, died in 1996. As you can see, he's a dude, what we call in English a dude. He just looks very cool. He is super cool. I saw him in 1990. Over the years, I've seen a lot of musicians, and many of them are no longer with us. I've seen at South by Southwest people who play with Duke Ellington, Count Basie, and many, many other people. These are musicians with incredible life stories, and they're part of our shared music and cultural heritage. Now, the Grey Ghost used to play in a small cafe in Austin, Texas. The event during South by South, the event I'm still working at 32 years later. He was one of the last great barrel house blues and ragtime piano players and singers. The reason he got his name, the Grey Ghost, is because he would mysteriously appear at concerts, and when he was finished, he mysteriously disappeared, and nobody could really figure it out. So that's where the name Grey Ghost comes from. His daytime job, believe it or not, used to be jumping from one train to another, going to different cities, trying to get work. Most of the time, he got into fights, shootings, knifings, and generally trying to avoid the law. So somebody who had a great history behind them. Now, he wasn't alone. These are two of his friends. Grey Ghost is obviously in the middle. On the left, you have Dr. Hepcat, and on the right, you have Irby Browser. And they were called the Texas Piano Professors. So next slide. After many years of not playing, he became a driver of one of the local school buses until he was rediscovered in 1988. The same year, at the age of 84, he was voted into the Texas Music Hall of Fame. His most famous song was Hitler Blues, which was written in 1940. And when I saw him and he said, I wrote this song in 1940, I went, oh my God. But that song, Hitler's Blues, actually got him onto Time magazine. It got him into the BBC World Service, which was broadcast internationally. And they used that song as part of the anti-Second World War campaign, i.e. to get rid of the Nazis. Now, this is something what I'm talking about. This is one of the very last concerts he did. This is in the early 1990s. And he played with a 10-year-old boy called Jake Andrews. And if you get a chance, go onto YouTube and watch this, because it's quite incredible for two reasons. There's a 76-year age difference between these two people. The young boy at 10 is a great blues guitarist. Grey Ghost, well, he's fantastic no matter what he does. So, Grey Ghost performed publicly for the last time at the Continental Club in December 1996 on the occasion of his 92nd birthday. The guy who organized that is called Terry Owens, and he pointed out to the crowd at the Continental Club, you'll never hear music like this again. And this is absolutely true. There are no barrel house piano players like that anymore. So, at the end of that last concert, the Ghost thanked everyone for coming, and he said, you make me feel like I'm somebody. And I think that's really, really important. There's a lot of musicians, older creatives, who just don't get a chance to perform. They're not exhibiting anymore. So that's why that was particularly pertinent, that comment. Okay, we're going to move on to somebody now. You may see a similarity in the name. He's actually my father. He was born on the 23rd of November, today. Today, he's 84 years old. He illustrates for me what it means to be an artist and how artists have always inspired and to continue to inspire young people. So this picture was taken in 1969 in New York when he was part of the Institute of Contemporary Artists exhibition, which traveled to America and Toronto. Around that time, you know, he even moved to Paris in 1962. He exhibited at the Musée des Arts Modernes. And around that same time, later in the 70s and 80s, he also exhibited in India, Poland, and Switzerland. Okay, 50 years later, what does he look like? Well, he looks like that. And that was an exhibition he did in the Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg. It's incredible, you know, growing up with someone like that and seeing 50 years of art that they have produced. Now, many of the things that you will see in here, well, by the way, I should mention that his last exhibition was in the Alsace, in a church of pictures which he reinterpreted from Plein. So let me show you very quickly some of his other works, just to flick through. So you can see here's a sculptor. This is also a 3D relief. This is a very bizarre series of pictures which everyone I shows to absolutely loves. They're kind of fascinated with this. This is one of the Doré reinterpretations. So what he's done, he has taken the old Doré books, which were published in France, and put them against a new background. And this gives a whole new meaning to the pictures. So this is the Berlin Wall, obviously, in the background. And this was just a picture of Sophie Scholl. Now, when you look at these pictures, what you're looking at is someone who's not just an artist, but he's a very skilled woodworker. And for many years, he was the secretary of the British Antique Restoration Society. This is a testament to people who are craftsmen, what we call artisans. This generation of people is dying out, okay? Artisans everywhere in the world. It's a real problem we have. And if you want to uphold the quality of art in general, I'm not talking about good art or bad art, I'm talking about the quality of art, then you really need to take care of these older people so that they can teach younger people these skills. This is something really quite important. Okay, now this picture is for me very interesting. It's a young girl looking at a unicorn, and the reason I took the photo is because she was standing there for ages looking at it. Now, what you won't see is that the unicorn is made out of this, which you will probably recognize as the Great Rose Window of Notre Dame. So let me just go back again. So when you see this young girl looking at this picture, she's trying to figure out, well, what is the unicorn? What is the message here? She obviously knew what a unicorn was, like most children do, but she was obviously not aware, probably, I'm guessing, of the Great Rosary Window in Notre Dame. So this is my last slide. This is obviously myself and my father in Strasbourg at the exhibition. What we have seen so far, sorry, let me just finish this off, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, what we have seen so far are two examples of an older musician and an older artist have inspired young people. That's why I say old people are our national treasures. But this has nothing to do with Europe. This is a worldwide problem we have. I used to live in Asia a long time. All the great bronze masters of Nepal, the Nawar bronze masters, they're all gone. Silk weaving, which used to be everywhere, is all gone. The people who made woodwork artifacts in Indonesia, almost all gone. This is a consequence, of course, of globalization. It's just the way it is. But I think we should spend a little bit more time trying to get more mentoring between older artisans and younger people. It's really that age group, the young people and the older people, bring them together, and then they'll inspire each other perhaps as well. So, very finally, I'd like to say thank you to everyone at Le French Touch, to Nicolas, Juliette and Laura. And I'd also like to say a big thank you to my sister Saskia Whitfield, who made these pictures yesterday while I was on the Eurostar coming to London. So thank you. And happy birthday, Dad.